You're live.
Morning, everybody. This is Munson Steed, and you are watching Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. I got with me today my team. Boom, 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 boom. It is the spark of light, the spark of everything that is rolling out. It is Cassidy Sparks, and of course, Romeo, international music extraordinaire, influencer, and then, of course, the disruptor of all things, the slammer, the bruiser, and of course, he's the first King James. It's Terry Shopshot. How you guys doing today?
Good morning.
How are you?
What's poppin'?
Man, come on. It's Tuesday. It's been a whole month. It's part of the conversation. So I'm cool. How about you guys? Get some sleep? Everybody getting some exercise? How about staying in place?
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying it. It seems like a very beautiful retreat. So haven't read as much as I want to. So I got to catch up on that and see what happened. Poetry month left me. I didn't write any poetry. How about you, Cassie? You write any poetry?
I didn't write any poetry. I've never tried. I haven't tried since maybe being in school. But it's
I thought
a
you
skill.
said Love Jones was your favorite movie.
It is, but I haven't written any poetry
Who are you in the
myself.
movie? Just like what character are you in the movie? Are you any of the characters, Cass?
No, she just likes
I'm not
Lorraine's
sure.
Tate.
I know. I actually really just like the love story.
The
Honestly. I
bruiser
just
comes
like
through.
the Black love. I like the Black friendship aspect. I just like the movie. I like the cultural aspects, the art that's inside of it, photography.
No, I
So
love, yeah, and I appreciate the fact that that was a genuine love story that didn't have anything to do with comedy, drugs,
hmm
killing, slaughters,
yeah,
conspiracy, or anything like that. It was just a legitimate story. I was surprised that it was actually made.
yeah, I really enjoyed it.
And then Bill Bellamy topped it off. Uh, Neil Long. I think I fell in love with Neil Long that movie. I was hooked.
Yeah, I think a
And
lot of people.
yeah, yeah. And I thought Bill Bellamy showed that he could actually act. I'm surprised he hasn't been in more movies because he did a good job playing the
He
villain.
was. He was a good actor in that
Oh, he
movie.
truly had his moment, and I'm hoping for a Bill Bellamy revival. But the thing I loved about him in that show is he got to be the villain, the brother villain, the
hmm
suspect brother, the brother that definitely broke the brother code the whole time, and wore it really with pride. And everything was way too big. Everybody had on clothes that were way too big. So shout out to those who are watching, and thanks for tuning in to Rolling Out AM. We are here for the wake up call, wake up the community, wake up the love, wake up the respect that we have. Of course, everybody from the Bronx tuning in for you. Shout outs to NYC. Shout out to Philly, Romeo.
What Rolling Out AM? What are we doing for fitness? Has everybody been on their fitness game? I know
Yeah, well, give a shout out to the city, Romeo. I know you missed the call. Terry, he dropped the pass.
Chicago.
Yeah, he did. So I'll go ahead and give a shout out, of course, to the Buckeye State and the city of Akron, Ohio, the home of LeBron James. And I am, of course, the first King James who took his talents to Atlanta. Thank you very much.
You know what?
Cassidy.
Shout out to Detroit. We've been doing a lot of interviews from people in Detroit who are on the front lines working, all the healthcare workers. So shout out to all of them for continuing to keep us safe.
Sure.
Yeah, and a big shout out to all those doctors and people forget the firefighters. Many of them are first responders in Chicago, in Detroit, in New York, in Houston. Shout out to Slim Thug for sharing and, good morning. We'll be here. Obviously, it's an exciting time for those of us who are able to retreat, but it clearly is a very stressful time. I want to make sure you tune in to Rolling Out, and we're going to bring on Randy, who's going to join us. Can you give us an idea of what we're getting ready to get, Romeo?
Randy B, man, this young lady is exceptional. She's a woman in tech. She's an author. She's also a Black woman that actually sits on the board of one of the makes decisions. She's a family and friend of Rolling Out AM. So, Rolling Out AM, wake up. Let's welcome Miss Randy B to the building and get this conversation going. Randy,
What's up? What's up?
where you at? We want to see.
I'm here. Let me see. I'm trying to. Oh, there I am.
Oh,
Morning.
Hey,
Hey,
Morning.
hey,
Good
good
morning.
morning.
How y'all doing today?
What's
Good.
that?
How are
Great.
you?
And Randy's checking in all the way from LA.
San
Come
Fran.
on, LA in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
she got the West Coast drapes going.
I'm loving that t-shirt. You know, you need to send a t-shirt. I'm loving the t-shirt.
You know, homegirl who does the t-shirts in Baltimore, black-owned sister.
Shout
You have
out.
to give us that name, reach out for her, make sure she comes on the show. Shout out to all of those in San Francisco. So I'm loving it. It's a big time, but definitely, how can people prepare themselves and what kind of technical insight can you give them to kind of leverage their brands while they're at home?
Man, you know, I tell people you got to be flexible, particularly if you're an entrepreneur. You know, you should be used to being flexible. I know this was something that we didn't prepare for because how could you, right? Like, how could you prepare for this? But you
So
just
if you were on a dais and we were going to say, all right, what would you and how would you introduce yourself so we can go dum?
how would I introduce myself? I'm a superintendent, right? Like I did the whole proper stuff, trying to teach companies how to be more inclusive so people wouldn't feel like harassed at work or feel as if they weren't part of the whole society. But that wasn't really working the traditional way. So I kind of tried to do it where I was, you know, just being real about some stuff. Some companies like that, some companies don't. Also trying to like talk to the individuals, like how do you work in this world without assimilating? How do you see yourself as a professional and as a Black person, as a professional and as a woman?
As a friend of the family, and shout out to your publicist because she's how important is digital today? Like you said, the world went upside down in less than a second, and a lot of people weren't prepared digitally. A lot of companies weren't prepared digitally. How important is that now as we move forward?
It's everything. The world is never going to be back to normal, right? We're going to have to create a new normal. So you're going to have to find a way to connect to your customers, your potential customers, your family, your friends digitally, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that we will not also see people face to face, but it definitely won't be the same. And a lot of contact is going to be right there on your laptop, from your homes, from your home offices or whatever. So you have to find a way to let people know you, right? It's not just about posting a pretty picture or, you know, and you and your fly new suit or fly new shirt, right? You know, it's also letting them know your personality, letting them know your character, letting them feel like, you know what, I could trust that person.
Well, give us an overview to Rolling Out Wake Up. Give us an overview of everything that you do. A quick.
Basically, I'm just trying to reach out and make things better for Black folks. So I have a website, randyb.net. I have a blog that comes out every week where we do financial tips, where we do, we write a lot. I have other Black bloggers that join me and they write. We talk about Black issues that are going on in the world from our perspective, right? Not what people tell us we should think. Black business tips, Black money tips, all things Black from Black people, owned by Black people. I'm also big on promoting Black businesses, right? Getting us out there. Always, you know, spreading the joy and the wealth, just teaching us how to build up.
So you're a tech evangelist. That's great. I mean, I think the beauty of being a tech evangelist, and I share with our friends in terms of making sure our community understands we're receipt shareholders. So any place we spend money, we should get respect. Any place we spend money, we should get respect. Any place we spend money, we should see investment in our community. And I love the fact that you're doing it because we've gotten where people don't want to ask. And I think our biggest ask coming out of this pandemic is clearly for better healthcare. Our ask clearly has to be something that resonates with us, making sure that we close the distance and get a lot more respect, even for ourselves in terms of healthcare, and come up with the whole movement and a measurable outcome. So I really love that you do that. Now, they tell me, and it was just a whisper, that you were actually an author. Can you share the title of your book and what motivated you to write it?
The name of my book is Never Says, 25 Things You Should Never Say in Order to Keep Your Job and Friends. You know, we Black folks, we kind of get a training from birth on how to assimilate and get a job, get through school or whatever, right? We get this education from day one. We don't even know we're being educated on how to act. So we're accepted. What I've learned is that the majority culture doesn't get that education. There's no reason in their minds to learn how to deal with people different than they are, right? So they say things thinking they're being totally nice, like, oh my gosh, you're so smart for a Black person, or pretty for a Black girl, or I don't see color, or, you know, just ridiculous things. And so, and we, instead of telling them, you know, that was jacked up, we just talk about them behind their backs, right? Or complain, or just deem them racist. And so really it's a dictionary of just dumb shit you shouldn't say. Like, just don't say it. It's not good. So that's basically what it is.
Yeah, that's a lot of training. I mean, I could see that posted, hashtag never say, hashtag you're not really understanding any kind of culture. So I think that's beautiful.
And that's one of the never says, like, but you're not really Black. Like, you know, if you happen to speak a certain way or something, people deem that as not Black. What does that mean? That Black people can't speak a certain way? I mean, so yeah, there's all these things that people say that they're insulting the heck out of people. And it's like, just like we learn, they need some cultural education.
What gave you the courage to walk away from corporate America and start your own business?
Well, to be honest with you, I was too dumb to know what I didn't know when I started my business. I mean, I can't even act like I was brave. I was too dumb to know I should have been brave. I was foolish. That's what I was, and it worked out, right? Now I realize, you know, what it took. But back then, I didn't know. I just had a need to do it. It worked for me. I decided to settle down, do the whole home life kid stuff. I wanted to work my own schedule, and I wanted to be responsible for the money I was making. I hated busting my butt and giving the money to corporate, to other people, right? Okay. So, but I didn't really know that I was what I was doing. Now I get it. I'm more aware, but that was when I started my company. That was over 18 years ago.
That's you.
So when you think about the idea of supporting a sister out of Baltimore, have you ever met her?
No.
Okay.
No, but
so Cassidy, we need to get her name so we can actually connect and let our viewers know, because it's just amazing. Now, where do you live now?
I live in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And in DC, I'm kind of bi-coastal. I go back and forth. But I travel quite a bit, to be honest with you. Like
You still traveling?
Oh, heck no.
Oh, okay. I was just like,
no, I haven't even been out my house, brother, in 50 days. You hear me? Like, I travel to the living room, to the kitchen, go out to the deck. That's my vacation. Nah, I'm not. I ain't messing around with the Rona.
I was just saying you were traveling. I'm like, okay, it's something new, you know. The Bay Area has always been that moment. So the digital presence has shifted. I mean, I was in Oakland maybe right when the Black Enterprise was. I came through Oakland. I actually stayed a night in San Francisco. But I really enjoy the pride of African Americans out there. How are the Black tech individuals? Are there a lot of Black tech companies launching now? The marijuana game is obviously high and big out there. How can you give us a forecast as a viewer of what are the 5 businesses we all should be considering so that we don't consider the wrong business during this tech evolution?
As far as
you guys have done with.
As far as businesses that you get into?
That people should consider, because everybody wants to consider one. What would be your top 5 recommendations now? Because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. So if they were going to do it, which 5 would you pick that they should consider?
Okay, the first thing you talked about is Blacks and techs out here. Silicon Valley, we're less than 1%. I mean, we are suffering. So these people who are making money in these big firms, I think places like Apple and things like that have fewer than 1%. I mean, it's sad. It is a black desert out here. We are not working in these industries. We're not. There's a lot of talk around it, talk about it, but it's not happening. A brother last year did a whole, wrote an email. He was quickly to Facebook about how racist it was. He was quickly ousted, let's just say. So that's an issue. As far as top 5, I don't know if I would have top 5. I would think that the door is just wide open, but to do your research and realize that, it's all available to us, but we may have to get in different ways and just feel as if the opportunities are there and not feel as if it's just like set aside for other people. But everything from cybersecurity to, these social media platforms, it's open for us.
Yeah, I would say stay away from the restaurant business. I truly don't believe this is going to be that moment.
Okay, you were talking tech. Yeah. Any business that you are delivering to people and making them safe, I honestly feel that you have a business that can grow. For instance, if you are in hairstyling, right? If you are a stylist, your business is not over. But just think about if you could charge people more to do a mobile service where you're coming to someone's house. I personally would pay extra to have somebody come to my house. I would pay double, triple to have someone come to my house and do my hair instead of sitting in a salon where there might be 6 women stacked up. Now, I'll miss the camaraderie, but you just have to think about how you can make your service where it's more convenient to people. And the needs have changed. What people want and need have changed. So look at the world and say, so for instance, I have people who are killing it. Restaurants, yeah, you can't go in and eat, but people who are delivering food, there's a place up the street. They used to do big time catering, right? I mean, fancy, all the big time Black events out here. Ruin Vine, they used to do, really fancy events, sister owned. Now, Monday through Sunday, they are cooking it up, having meals delivered, having where you could pick up foods. Families don't want to cook; they can still get home cooked meals, and they're making it, right? You gotta be, like I said at the beginning, be flexible about your business. How can you still reach your customers?
So it's all about reinvention.
Reinvention.
There's something that you touched on that caught my attention.
Yeah.
When you brought up cybersecurity and Black enterprise. I'm a graduate of Georgia Tech, right? And within that process, I got offered a position for the government as a hacker.
Yeah.
But what I realized was a lot of people do not know where to get tech knowledge when it comes to business. Where should people go to actually search that? Because I don't think that, me personally, I don't think that if I wasn't at Georgia Tech, I would have never known that these positions are available to me to reach out and get the knowledge for. So where should Black people who are in tech search to I guess, find these positions, find these jobs?
Well, so the thing is that, well, first of all, what I would say is before I found a job, tech jobs are so in demand, I would incorporate myself and be a contractor for anybody, just right off the bat. You have the power and the flexibility, if you have those skills, to not even be looking for a job. In my opinion, I wouldn't go, but I would contract myself out so you can have multiple jobs, plus be building your own empire in the meantime. That's one. And you can do that. You have the ability to negotiate because those skills are such in demand. Most companies that you go into, they have so many contractors working for them and don't have direct employees. So that would be my first bit of advice. Secondly, what I would say is, I mean, if you're in tech, the internet is like there's nothing you cannot learn how to do, using the internet. These days, people can't tell me I don't know how. I mean, I'm sitting up here fixing toilets and everything since we sit shut in, because I have the
YouTube University.
Right. So, there's no reason people can't look on there. And then there's just so many organizations like, Black Women Tech, Black Code, Tech. I can't think of the terms. I'm sorry. I get all the emails and I'm part of the societies, but there's so many organizations and they're, showing jobs and things like that. So it's just using what getting on there and searching and being open.
Well, I personally thank you for checking in to Rolling Out AM Wake Up this morning. All the way, was it 5 a.m.?
At 5 a.m. Look,
In the morning.
A lipstick and everything.
You look great. Thank you so much.
We appreciate everything. We're going to check back in with you. I'm going to check out your blog so I can stay in touch and follow you. Continue to be a change agent. We really appreciate you here at Rolling Out. We know that you're doing phenomenal things.
Love you guys.
Of course, let us know who, can you kind of give us an idea, or for people who want to follow you, can you just let us know how they can follow you?
Randy B, RANDIB on just about everything. RandyB.net, Randy B. I'm on have a different network on Mighty Network. So we have a private safe space. Instagram Randy B, Facebook Randy B. Randy B, you'll find me.
All right, Rolling Out AM and Randy B. We appreciate you. The wake up call. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Peace.
Y'all be safe out there.
Take care, you too.
All right,
All
take
right,
care.
Rolling Out AM. We're going to Cassidy for the Spark Report. How are you, Cass?
Good. How's everyone doing? That was awesome. Thank you so much for having her on, Romeo. That was some good insight for everyone in the tech space or who wants to get into the tech space. So we're going to start things off talking about fashion a little bit. Not sure if you guys know, but the first Monday in May always marks a huge event in fashion, the Met Gala. So obviously, because of what's going on with coronavirus, so many events are being canceled, postponed, and this event was the same. So I just wanted to flash back to some iconic moments in fashion from previous Met Galas. It's always about big fashion, really glamorous looks based on whatever that year's theme is. So here's just a couple: Solange, obviously Sierra, Rihanna, Cardi, Idris Elba and his wife, Beyonce and Jay-Z. So just a kind of moment to commemorate fashion as we didn't have a traditional Met Gala this year.
What was your favorite all time? Do you have
Of all time, honestly, I really love this Rihanna look. And this one was about, I forget, it was something, I can't remember the exact theme, but I really did like that look of hers. But there's so many, it's really hard to choose from. Like I was going back years in the past and saw some cool ones from Naomi Campbell, Iman, some Black fashion models. So it's really hard to pick, but these are just some more recent ones that are really iconic as more Black people have been able to attend the event and express their sense of fashion.
And your homeboys, you got to say a shout out. Obviously, all your other homeboys had that opportunity to go when you see back Offset and obviously
Oh yeah, for sure.
Migos making it. So diversity has happened at the Met as they look
Definitely.
at our rise in both hip hop and business.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Black culture has been on this carpet a lot more in recent years, from directors to actors to musicians, rappers. So definitely shout out to all the people who've been able to go like that. So for sure. Moving on, in the world of celebrity birthdays, it is Chris Brown's 31st birthday. So shout out to him. His daughter Royalty is seen here. She designed him this very special cake with family photos of he and Royalty, as well as his new son. So shout out to her. She sent him a lovely birthday message. So happy 31st birthday to Chris Brown. Moving on, Beyonce and Jay-Z, actually, they've been social distancing, practicing the same things during quarantine that we have. But more recently, they were able to link up with their Tina Knowles Lawson and Kelly Rowland. And in this post, Tina Knowles Lawson mentioned how much she missed her grandkids and the babies because they were so young. And she actually said that when they went over, they practiced social distancing, but they also got tested that day. So I felt like this was very interesting that they were able to get tested. I'm not really sure if it was a same day process. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that, but she said they definitely got tested when they went and hung out with each other. So I'm not sure what the turnaround time was, but I thought this was kind of interesting. Because, we keep hearing 72 hours and these long periods to get your test results back. But it's also great that they were able to see each other and still practice social distancing, because I know a lot of people are missing their families right now. So if you can be around your families and your loved ones while practicing social distancing, wearing masks, I definitely think it's a good thing for our spirits to be around family. Next up, Wiz Khalifa is talking about music, and he's kind of sharing some advice for young guys in the game, and basically saying he's urging them to be the captain of their own fate, basically stressing the importance of making their own decisions as artists to sustain success over a long period of time. He also spoke about working with Megan Thee Stallion and just how cool it was working with her and how they really vibed. And also he said they have a lot of music in the archive. They laid down some tracks together, so we can obviously expect some music from Wiz and Megan Thee Stallion in the future. So that's all for now. And we'll come back with some more for you guys.
Woo! All right. Really appreciate that. I'm not certain about Wiz giving advice, but clearly business advice, maybe music advice.
No, it was music advice.
Okay,
for sure.
music advice.
About careers, sustaining their music career.
All right. And Chris Brown, that's your favorite artist of all time?
He's not my favorite of all time, but I do like him, and we like to highlight people's birthdays, so I thought it was a cool thing to recognize him today.
All right, so we're going to have to figure out a few more birthdays on that note.
For sure.
Because I think Romeo, it's probably somebody's birthday. Why don't we look that up, Terry, and figure out who else's birthday it is today, so we can shout out to them too. I really love some of the stuff that you see as families are growing in the mindset of some of the celebrities that you see that they're sharing their families, giving it. Want to think about some of the individuals that might be at home and not able to see their family. So shout out to that.
Definitely.
And shout out to everybody on the Rolling Out AM Wake Up. I was just checking in. We got people checking in from Rolling Out Twitter, Rolling Out Facebook, Rolling Out YouTube, Rolling Out the website. Make sure you go to rollingout.com to keep up with all the Rolling Out AM antics, and you can keep up with all of us at the same time.
Well, we got hot new information, and there's more than a day that goes by that we all need to think about social distancing and keeping that message high on what we're doing. For all those who don't know, we just might want to give an idea. Here at Rolling Out AM, we have a message of safety for all of us. I want us to think about it in a way that allows us to move forward. But cases did rise. Obviously, the first month that everybody's been in and safe, the US added 883,000 new cases. Georgia added another 23,000 cases. So just so that you have an idea, clearly the rise of cases is still continuing. For Georgia, they added 1,000 cases in a day. And so when people are still moving about, just understand many, just so that you have a clear idea. For those hospitalized cases in Atlanta, you had over 77.1 had symptoms, 22.9 were asymptomatic. So just so that everybody knows, there is a continued rise, and we've been able to add over 1,000 cases in a day in Georgia. So if you have any idea about opening things up, if you have any idea about why you should stay in place and not move around, that's one of them. So for me, that's happening. I want to make sure that everybody else knows it's happening too.
Definitely. That is super important. And obviously here we have our mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, who is continuously putting out the message and the information to our community to stay inside, stay quarantined, and don't adhere to going out for unnecessary purposes. Stick to going to the grocery store, stick to going to the pharmacy, and get back in your house. It's not necessary to go out. and she continues to push this message. So I think it's important to listen to our local leadership because she is looking out for our best interest.
Yeah, I think Keisha's getting upset. I saw the message she posted yesterday. I think Keisha is getting very upset.
All right. Well, let's move along to our guests. We'll come back to that. We want our entire community to welcome our guests. Big Terry Shropshire.
Yes,
Go ahead, bring our guest in.
Yes, as we are paying homage to people, particularly those who are fighting on the front line, I'd like to pay homage to Dr. Kenesha Hall, who is a doctor and an anesthesiologist in Houston, who has been on the front line since the very beginning, and I'd like to tell her tale of the things that she has experienced, and in particular, when she has to go home every night after her shift, and the steps that she has to take to avoid infecting her young daughter, who's 5 years old, and her mother, who's 65 years old, and they share the same home. So we welcome to the show Dr. Kenesha Hall.
Hello, I'm sorry. I hope you can hear me. I can't turn my camera on right now as I am actually at the hospital.
Well, we can do this here behind door number K. And welcome to Rolling Out AM. We just want to thank you. For those that don't know, you can tune in tonight from 6 p.m. and catch our dear doctor. We're talking about individuals who are frontline on health IQ for Rolling Out on Facebook. But can you just give us an idea of what it's like to be on the front line, have a family, and have to move in a way that keeps safety paramount in everything you do every second that you live and breathe?
I can say this. When I chose to be a doctor and I went to medical school, I wanted to help people. I wanted to practice my craft. I went to school for more than 13 years, another 7 years of specialty training to do what I do. And I love what I do, but never did I think that every single move that I would make in caring for patients would put me at risk, but not just me at risk, my family at risk as this virus travels and is very, very contagious. So I feel like I'm a frontline enlisted soldier because this is not what I signed up for. I knew when I took my Hippocratic oath that I would give up holidays because the hospital never closes, but I never thought that my life would constantly be in danger.
Yes, you likened it when we talked before. I likened it to U.S. soldiers on the front lines of the war. And in actuality, America and the world is at war with an invisible enemy. And that's one that you're fighting on the front lines every day. So we salute you. But talk to us about the long shifts that you have. And then it's almost as if you have to go to work once you get off your shift and contemplate whether you want to go home to your family or to stay in a hotel. Talk about that process.
Yeah, it's a daily struggle every day. My shifts went from 6 to 8 hours. And then the last week of February, starting in March, extended to 12, sometimes 18, sometimes 24-hour shifts on call. And you sit in your car, or at least I sit in my car after every shift, replaying my day. Like, was I careful enough? Did I don my PPE correctly? Am I safe to go home to my family? And then once I get there, my entire family interactions have changed. We're a very loving family. I live with 3 generations of women in my home. My mom lives with me and helps me take care of my daughter so that I can work these long hours. And I have a 5-year-old. So the entire dynamic of our household, this loving, hugging, kissing, touching family has changed. And I fear that this lack of personal affection is going to affect my child.
Well, we don't want to give it all to them. We want them to tune in tonight for all the gems that you're going to drop, because I know that it's all about frontline caretakers and individuals on the front line. We have the Dallas police chief with you. So clearly send you love, light, and protection and prayers every day. Know that that's coming from Rolling Out. And we look forward to talking to you tonight from 6 to 7 on Healthcare IQ. So we really appreciate you and thank you and God bless you.
Yes,
Thank
God
you
bless.
so much.
Stay blessed. We'll see you tonight.
I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a thing. I think the idea, and thanks to the doctor for sharing that, the level of honesty, the grit and the hurt and the pain and actually suffering are still kind of omitted from our viewers and individuals who can't see it, individuals that can't see Houston, individuals that don't or I didn't hear her voice this morning. So we encourage everyone to really stay in place. I think that not only is the mayor doing a great job, there are lots of individuals like Dougie Fresh and who are carrying a message, but obviously the message is being lost a little bit, and we want to regroup that. So Healthcare IQ tonight is really an opportunity to bring those things to light. I think that's what we have going on. What did you feel about that, Cassie?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important that we hear from our frontline workers who are suffering every day, who are having to internalize all the trauma that they're seeing, and just to hear it from them how important it is to stay at home because they're making so many sacrifices for us. Like she said, sacrificing that family unit and being able to go home and hug your loved ones after a rough day. So I just think it's so important to hear from them because it really makes what we're going through so much more real if you're not understanding how serious this is.
The other thing is, if you choose to go out, then
Mhm.
at least don't be selfish about it. If you
Right.
choose to go out, find a favorite bandana or two or five. Find a
Mhm.
scarf that you love. If you're going to go out, if you're going to be there, we ask that we don't meet you in the grocery store without a
Mhm.
mask. We ask that you at least don a mask when you're out. So I
Right.
think that for me, it's like take out of the selfishness if we're going to meet you in the street. We
Mhm.
want a community that is wearing masks. I don't
Right.
want people in restaurants thinking about not wearing a mask. If you're gonna get your hair cut, if you're gonna get your nails done, if you're gonna stand in line for tennis shoes, please wear a mask. At least
Definitely.
protect yourself and the people around you. So asymptomatic is a real thing. We want to continue to say that, but I think it's real important that we at least ask, at least we are at Rolling Out, um, for us to do that right now.
Mhm.
We're advising. No, I don't. I'm not a doctor, but I'm asking for individuals to actually at least not be selfish and wear your mask. I think that's as much, uh, you know, the reality for all of us. How do we stay protected if you're at the grocery store and people don't want to wear a mask?
Rolling out,
Definitely.
rolling out AM. I think the one thing that really touched me was the fact that she said she goes through all of this within a day and still has to relive the day to make sure everything's okay before she goes home. So it's the process of these frontline workers, as Cassidy stated, being there and then have to relive being there in order to go home sounds so mentally draining. And I applaud her for that. Like that is I would have never thought of that. Never.
Well, I think you find that that's the reality of all of the
Yeah.
individuals, including bus drivers. I mean, the
Mhm.
bus driver does not want to meet a positive person.
Right.
So if you get on a bus without a mask, you're not helping the bus driver, because now you're touching the very door that he has to walk out of. I'm not sure when people say very contagious that they don't understand. Your cough in your hand versus your arm, and you
Right.
touch something. I don't know that everybody's watching the movements. It's a literal movement game, and I think that's the thing that has doctors concerned. She's like, did I put my? She knows this isn't a fact. There's no fake news for her. She can't fake herself out and say this is a fake world. And I think that for many people, they're only in their world versus this entire country
Mhm.
is under siege by something you can't see. And I think that's the concern I have, that people don't believe, and yet the numbers are rising.
Good
that
morning.
don't believe, and yet there are more people infected. Let's
Definitely.
go to Romeo. You got to have something for
No,
us today. Why don't we get your report?
no,
Go ahead, Terry. Oh, I always got something for rolling out AM. So if producer Portia could cue me up.
I remember I said that you're
If producer
no,
Portia
I said, remember,
could cue me up, we'll be good to go. And like I said, everybody, man, welcome to Rolling Out AM. So this is what popped up on the radar in music. What will live concerts look like? The pandemic is preventing large crowds and forming, making it hard for hosts to have live concerts. And a creative solution has popped up in the most unlikely place. If you hit the next slide, ladies and gentlemen, Denmark. That's right, Denmark. The Danish city of Aarhus and the popular singer Mad Longer, who's really dope, performed a drive-through event at newly constructed venue 6 days ago, and 500 tickets were sold. And this is the photo of Cars, a concert stage, live. I don't know how the interaction was, but this was actually the first concert since the pandemic, and it was a successful concert. So I propose to the Rolling Out AM team, do you guys see this happening in the US?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I see that happening. I'm not even sure what that would be like to experience, honestly. Um, I believe I saw something that was just like you can only have two people in your car. I'm not really sure how they went about monitoring it. I mean, we definitely are in a new normal where artists are going to have to find another way to be creative and to still be able to tour. So I'm really not sure what the future looks like. I'm not sure if they'll follow in Denmark's footsteps or come up with another format.
Right.
But like I said, I think a part of our society is being together and being a community and just kind of feeding off of each other's energy. So that's the fun part of being at the concert. And obviously, we're going to have to modify how we do that. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yes, it's a new form of the word pull up. When they say pull up, they really gonna mean
Definitely.
in your car.
Definitely.
Mustin, are you gonna drive to the concert?
I might, but not anytime soon. I'm not really socializing at all. I'm not going to suggest that me or going where 500 people are at all is part of my behavior. It's not. So if innovation and the risk factor, I think you've got to figure out your risk profile, because when you leave your house, your risk profile goes up. I think it's funny that people are not taking the severity of this disease and thinking about momentary gratification. I think it takes a lot of momentary gratification to think about. Yeah, we got 500 people to do it, but they got 1,000 people to go to the house party. They got 1,000 people. They had hundreds of thousands of people that probably went to spring break, only to hear that now there was a ton of infection. People have attended funerals, and that's a sad moment, and it's a very moving moment, and yet people were infected. So, not sure that innovation right now to figure out just how to have concerts. I think there are lots of profiteers that have no conscience. I mean, people are just not willing to reset. It's not been that long. It's all about having a reset. This is the moment to reset. So, do I anticipate in the future that sitting in my car might be one of the safest approaches to have a social experience? Yes. Would I do it now, given the lack of testing and, air from a car next door, traveling into my car when I'm sitting down? Somebody rolls down their window, I roll down my window, and they haven't been tested, and there are air comes in my car. Those cars really didn't look 6 feet apart. I don't know. So I think that's like an experiment of how to grow a disease, because everybody's not going to keep their windows down. Somebody's going to try to blow some trees. Somebody is literally going to try to, smoke a cigarette and want to roll the window down and let the cigarette smoke out. And I think all of those things, by the time they tell somebody, put that out, stop that, roll your windows up, the virus is spread. And all of a sudden you have a calamity. The other thing is, when you have these experiences, it's not like it happens that day. You might be asymptomatic, or you might not get any symptoms for 2 to 3 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
So now you don't have it. You went to a concert. Now all the tracking is important, but the people you've infected over those 3 weeks, it's crazy.
Right.
I mean, I think that's the thing that, for me, Romeo, it's not, innovation is great, but this isn't about the concert business right now. Like, it's not about the other businesses. Everybody wants to survive. Literally, we want to do photo shoots with our artists. We want to have them in our studio. We want to have people there and invite them in our podcast room. But this ain't that moment. And we've got to create moments, even to suggest that that's a safe methodology is risk-taking.
Right.
And I think the liability of people, particularly businesses, has to be on their mind. What else you got for rolling out AM, the wake-up call?
Well, also, don't forget, make sure that you go to rollingout.com. You'll be able to get the Rolling Out University shirts. And next Friday, you'll be able to get the Rolling Out exclusive AM playlist. That's right. You'll be able to listen to the favorite songs from myself, Cass in the City, Terry, Munson Steve, AR Shaw. Beginning next Friday, you'll be able to get the Rolling Out AM playlist that'll be going on. But I will say this. I do agree with you. I think one of the things is, that you brought up is the innovation of creativity. I think people are just feeling socially closed in, that they just want to be a part of something. And I think that if we can find a even playing field where it's safe, secure, then, I think people will calm down then. But I definitely agree with you on, I will follow up the report to see how the outcome of that concert went and keep it up.
I just want to say that the outcome of an experience, particularly when success for a promoter and success for health and society and frontline workers are not things that are actually coexisting right now. I think for every police officer that sees 1,000 people at one location, here's an ambulance coming to somebody's house at their grandma or aunt that nobody's talking about. I think that the value proposition is, once again, how do you reset a society to focus on those things that are important? The one thing that we know is, are you reading more now? Are you taking the time to really grow a skill set? Are you taking that time now? This is that moment to reset. Are you adjusting your diet? Are you increasing your water intake? Any of those things to make you pause. Help me out, Cass.
No, definitely. I have my water. I drink a lot of water. Definitely taking a lot of precaution to what I put in my body, making sure that I'm using things and eating things that are going to boost my immunity during this time. It's a very important time. There's so many useful tools out there to help you learn new skills during this time. It's a great opportunity to learn how to cook. If you don't know how, learn some fresh, healthy recipes. It's a great time to learn how to, do yoga. If you want to learn how to do yoga, you want to start a business, it's a great time to learn how to do that, get your LLC started. There's so many things that you can do that are positive during this time to make you a better person and help you to elevate in your life and your career. So definitely don't waste this moment by just sitting down.
And the other thing is, you're right, Cassie, thanks for sharing, but a lot of people are unemployed.
Yeah.
So it's a painful thing to bait people to do things when they're unemployed. It's a very painful reality. And we can't always think that it's all about what other people that are collecting your money are feeling. You literally have to be in a moment and understand that one or more people in a house have lost a job.
Definitely.
And if that's what they're facing, Romeo, no matter how people say, oh, go out and do these things, it could be a painful reality for a person now to psychologically say, I can't do something, or to tell their children they can't do what they used to do. There are a lot of conversations happening right now like that. And so it literally has to be a wake-up call for individuals to stop baiting people, to go out and do things when we know that their mom or their dad or a child won't be able to have the same graduation. The child won't be able to have the same summer camp. The child won't be able to have a lot. And I think it's up for us to make sure at Rolling Out AM that we think about the front line and continue to carry a message and give skills and share skills on our show tomorrow, Cassidy, so that people will know what they can do. Like, here are some of the things that you can do that can begin to be earning and enter. Definitely don't waste your stimulus check, because everybody's going to need a reserve. You are going to need a reserve. So how to spend the money, how to go out and do it. This isn't necessarily the moment to just spend. And for a lot of people, it is suffering. And we don't want to omit their reality from our truth.
Absolutely. I think that goes back to yesterday. Sorry to cut you off, but even with the shoes and the line outside for the shoes, I mean, it goes back to that conversation about not wasting your money, not baiting people to go out and spend and put themselves at risk.
And we want to show love to our Rolling Out AM Facebook family checking in. Miss Evelyn Graham, Robert Ranson, Alphanet Garvin, Jamita Tillman, and also shout out to Cynthia Kitt, who are watching right now and say they're loving the show. Jamila, has a question for Cass in the City. Cass in the City, live from Facebook. She wants to know, who was your favorite male at the Met Gala that you've seen? Who was your overall favorite male best dressed at the Met Gala? Chris Brown?
No, Chris Brown has never been to the Met. I'm trying to think. I will say I tend to check out the dresses a lot more because they're a lot more in your face. Sometimes guys tend to just tone it down and just rock something very simple. I don't know that I have a favorite. I know like Kanye has done a lot of things that are more out there with his fashion, and alongside Kim Kardashian, kind of matching what she has going on. I will say this, my favorite was Pierre Moss, and he is a designer, and he rocked, no, was it him? Who rocked that? I can't even remember, but they rocked a pinstripe suit, and it had the names of like rappers and like iconic figures on there. I know they had like Nipsey on there, and it had like different buttons of different rappers. So I don't remember exactly who wore it, but that was my favorite. I think always using fashion to kind of reawake the culture and talk about things that are current in our culture and make them relevant is very important.
Yeah, you had somebody on Facebook, one of the owners, talking about the leveraging technology, and they're very right. They were talking about the value of having to have some new technology approach. So clearly it's not a rush, but you're very, very, very key. We're going to have to use technology to leverage our new experience. So I think that they might have been onto something. We just got to figure out when we need the something. And as we experience that, I think venue owners are definitely figuring out how to create a protocol to deliver services.
Munson Steve, this is also from Facebook. Ms. Tillman wants to know, as a venue owner, I know we must adjust, adapt, and be vigilant to innovate. What are your three components for venue owners today?
I think venue owners definitely have to protect themselves and their staff, number one. Create a protocol so that they have some idea of the shape, the testing, and status. Status is going to be so key moving into the future. I would just be careful about liability, because we haven't seen the onslaught in this litigious society of what individuals are going to do and where they're going to say they actually got exposed to the virus. I think once they do that, they'll probably, and each person would probably want them to either put their fingerprint down or sign going in, mitigating your risk even as an owner. I would not just open my door to somebody who may or may not acknowledge that they're positive. A person would have to take a position, particularly at this time, before I invited them in. I would look at any of the other protocols. I would definitely make full relations, business relations with my health department, look at their protocols, call my insurance agency. I think that is the biggest thing for you. And then make a friend with a doctor and an epidemiologist so that you have an idea if your current protocol is there. But we've got our special guest. Why don't you introduce her? Rolling out in the AM, Cassidy.
Yes, absolutely. So Carisha Moore of Usher's New Look Foundation is here. We're super excited to speak with her about everything they're doing over there for the community. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome. Rolling out AM.
I'm glad to be here.
We're so happy to have you. I know that you and your whole board and team are putting something great together for the young individuals during this moment, and you have a fun. Can you just give us a snippet of all of those things so that we can know?
Absolutely. So as you know, Usher's New Look, we serve youth ages 14 to 24. And with COVID-19 and the education disruption that has happened for youth all over the world, we thought we would extend our programming. And so we are launching a virtual academy for high school students and a UNL University for college students so that they can continue to learn even throughout the summer months. And that launches next week and will go through August 24th.
So all those who want to participate, can you share some information like where do you go? How do you get your child involved if you're a parent?
Absolutely. So visit our website, ushersnewlook.org, and click on programs. And there are the registration links for both high school as well as college age students. And it'll be a magnificent time for these young people to stay engaged, to continue to learn. We know that knowledge is power, and we want to make sure that our youth continue to gain access to that even throughout the summer.
What is that experience like? What do they look forward to? How will they, and all of them obviously want to engage with you and Usher? How is he involved in this?
Absolutely. So we have been hosting virtual sessions for our youth who are participants in our program since this all began. And they come in, they join, our youth tell us, you know what, we haven't been engaged with our friends, and this is great for us to be able to connect with our peers. And that's what it is. It's an opportunity for them to come together with their peers, hear from influencers and experts in various industries. They'll join virtual job shadowing opportunities with companies such as Travelers and Goldman Sachs. They'll also hear from people like tonight, we have Karen Civil, a philanthropist and social media marketer, coming on and sharing about her career journey. So these are some of the opportunities that the youth will have. It'll be fun, prizes, excitement.
I know. And so they can go and sign up at the website.
Yes.
And how, when people are shadowing, can you share insight so parents get it? What are they getting when they're actually able to shadow?
Right. So obviously job shadowing looks a little different during this time. And so we have people who will come on, for example, with VMware. We'll have people that represent different industries within that company and come in and share a little bit about the day in the life, what education requirements are needed in order to fulfill their career, and then what the possibilities are and what the future looks like for those particular job outlooks. And that's what we want to share with our youth. We know that that makes the difference for our youth, gaining that exposure and that experience.
Terry?
Yes. Yeah, I've long admired him, and I wanted to find out what is his philosophy of philanthropy. Why is it that he devotes so much and appropriates so much of his time and resources to giving back to the community?
You know what, if you don't know the story, back when Usher was 19, his mom took him to Judge Hatchett's courtroom, and they watched these young people come in, and they had been faced with all of these decisions, but and were having consequence for their decisions. And they left there thinking these young people need leaders and mentors in their lives. They need a new look on life. And so that's the way that he approaches this philanthropic endeavor, is that we are helping these young people gain a new look on life, transform their lives through education and training and opportunity. Sometimes you can't be it unless you see it. And that really is a proponent of, we're proponents for that, showing our young people what's possible, showing them a Munson, a rolling out, that these are careers that you can have, and you can start with your spark, what it is that you're passionate about. And that's what we continue to do. And that's why we're raising funds for our emergency fund, so that people can help us to continue that work also.
Can you tell us about the emergency fund and how people can actually support that as well?
Absolutely. So we launched the emergency fund in order to help us continue to support these students throughout the summer, but also to us, think about the college students that we serve who had to leave their campuses, which means that they left their jobs. And these may be young people who are independent. Some of our high school students, their parents may have lost their jobs, and so they come to us for financial support. So we want to be able to provide that to them in addition to other resources. But you can go to our website, and there's a pop-up that comes up where you can donate. So we make it very easy. And we also have a text to give. You can text UNLEF to 44321 and donate any amount that will help support the youth that we're going to serve throughout the nation.
I love that you, in the shadowing and the association, have companies like Goldman and Travelers who are really making a difference and kind of the jobs of the future. Insurance is not going away. What other industries can families and the kids understand that they'll be exposed to?
Absolutely. So tech is huge, right? Tech permeates everything. We're all on tech right now. So tech is another. A lot of young people are interested in communications. So we'll be connecting with communications firm. Music is another. So we're looking at different music producers and people who work in the music industry, executives, but also learning those things that they need in order to be successful scholars. Next Monday, we have a counselors town hall where we'll have 2 counselors from Atlanta and 1 from New York, sharing with parents and students about what they need to be doing right now and over the summer to continue on track despite the educational disruption that has happened.
That's a beautiful exposure. So for many children, the new look is actually getting them a look into their future in advance. So what have been the outcomes, some of the beautiful outcomes that you've experienced at the foundation and what you guys are doing?
Absolutely. So our students who participate in our high school program, we have 100% high school graduation rate. We have 8 young people right now that are graduating this semester from college, but we've had numerous students to graduate, absolutely. And we are wrapping around them as their graduations, commencement services have been canceled. But we have one young lady graduating from Georgia Tech who's going over to BAE Systems in Alabama. Our students have gone on to work for PwC, Chick-fil-A, numerous Fortune 100 companies, FedEx, and it's all through exposing them. We start them young, learning about these companies, then they're able to participate in internship programs in some cases. In some cases, they find these opportunities on their own, and we support them and make sure that they're prepared to not just get into these roles, but to thrive.
Yeah, leadership is something that's big. What do they learn about leadership while there?
So I'll give you a previous example. This past Saturday, I was on a session with our high school students. They were learning about servant leadership. And we had Michael Swick from H.J. Russell on, sharing his thoughts on servant leadership, and to hear these young people to think about the principles and say, that makes sense to me. And I exhibit compassion in my life with my peers. And this is an example of someone who exhibits servant leadership in my life is important. Just think about how powerful that is for a 17-year-old to leave out of high school knowing about servant leadership. Certainly if they're in a job interview and they start to pontificate on how they are a servant leader, I can bet that they would probably leave out with that job. And that's what we want to do. We want to empower them to be knowledgeable and competitive in this market.
Yeah, at Rolling Out, I know we always talk about access and success actually go together. And anytime, whether it's Usher bringing these young people, Maynard Jackson, who's always brought people, obviously Mr. Russell and those institutions. So I'm very proud of you and Usher continuing to showcase giving young people the access that is critical. So this virtual opportunity. Now, where can people go again?
Yes, go to our website, ushersnewlook.org, click on programs, and there'll be a banner right there at the top. They can click on it. It's easy. The application will pop up. Short application. We just want to know about the students so that we can reach them and be able to provide them the information. And there'll also be some prizes and a certificate at the end of the summer that we provide for our students so we can go on their resume as well, the different courses that they took. We'll be providing 65 different courses for young people throughout the summer.
Super.
Awesome.
So we really want to thank you for coming on. You've done a phenomenal job. We look forward to hearing a little bit more. We know there's some surprises. Big up to Usher. Big up, tell Karen Civil we said hello from Rolling Out. We love it. Really love the fact that you guys are giving access to success for our future leaders and the future generation of our community. We love you a lot. We look forward to seeing you again. And don't stay away from Rolling Out AM.
Oh, we'll be back. Thank you so much for having me. We appreciate you for allowing us to access this platform.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please,
Take
come on
care.
back, Romeo. We want you and we love you.
It was a great conversation, guys.
What's happening for Rolling Out AM? You're here. Did you have anything left, or can we go to the first, the only King James from Akron, Ohio, the bruiser, the cruiser, the welterweight, the champion of all things Buckeye? It is Jerry Shropshire. Rolling Out AM.
Yes. The first thing that's on the list is the fact that Beyonce, we're talking about COVID-19 and the pandemic and how it's impacting us. And we know that Beyonce has appropriated $6 million of her own money in collaboration with the Twitter CEO, Jack Dorsey, in order to basically fight the COVID virus pandemic from a mental and emotional standpoint. Well, she's now collaborating with her mother, Tina Lawson. I apologize, Tina Lawson. In Houston, they have started an initiative talking about giving away free testing and gloves and other materials like household products in order to help Houstonians and Texans fight the coronavirus, mostly to African Americans and people of color. As we know, for example, in the state of Georgia, 80% of those who have been hospitalized from the coronavirus have been African American. Beyonce has spoken about this on several occasions, and now she has put her word in her mouth and her money where her mouth is. So she has started through her Bay Good Foundation, she has started a free testing campaign with Miss Tina Lawson, and they are now going to provide testing, 1,000 tests for the people of the city of Houston. Next on the list, we have Mr. Ja Rule and Mr. 50 Cent. They're going at it again. 50 Cent laughed and mocked Ja Rule because he asked for an Instagram live battle on Versus. 50 Cent laughed and told him that he, in a mocking meme, said that he was basically going to battle for food and for fame. So 50 Cent came back at him and said that he's scared to face him. And then which 50 Cent said that he would rather battle Snoop because they're a little bit more along the same lines. And then Ja Rule came back and said that he's not ready to battle Ja Rule. As we most know, almost 20 years ago, 50 Cent, in most people's opinion, bodied and carried away and basically killed off the career of Ja Rule as a superstar before his career took off. And so 50 Cent no longer believes that he is worthy of even being in the same sentence as Ja Rule. So that is what's going on with that.
Yeah,
Next, we have
probably not go back to that one at all. It won't be a battle. It doesn't even look like anything that we want to, that just the weight class. That's just the wrong weight class, for anything. I think it from a weight class. So we don't even have to mention that again or rolling out in the AM. That just sounds like fake news to me.
Well, the thing about it is that 50 Cent wants to battle Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg is interested, and that would be a very interesting and very relevant battle on Versus. So that's the reason why it was brought up. Ja Rule just happened to be a side piece in terms of, the fact that he wants to get in and he can't get in, and it doesn't look like he'll ever get in.
And don't mention him again.
I will not mention Ja Rule ever again.
Right, because that just like for all of us, it's like, How is that a good battle?
Well, Snoop and 50 would be a great battle. But on to the next news. The fact is that Ray J has been banned from his own household. He cannot see the kids and he cannot see his wife, Princess. He has 2 children. He is holed up and bunkered in a Los Angeles area hotel for the time being. Now, granted, it's a luxury hotel, but the fact that he just finished making a movie and that he was taking pictures with the staff, the crew, and the characters in the movie, Princess has declared that he cannot come home for the next week. Now, she wanted 2 weeks, but I guess they negotiated, and he's going to stay in a luxury hotel for the next week before he can come home and reunite with the children. And that it sparked a lot of laughs and discussion on social media in terms of why did she relent, and then also with the fact that some people think that he should be allowed to go home and just stay in a different part of the house, sort of like what CNN's Chris Cuomo is doing with his family while he quarantines in the home with his family. But as we can see, that didn't work out with Chris Cuomo's family, as the entire family has caught the coronavirus. Blessings to CNN's Chris Cuomo's family. And
but they talked about, and that was what I was saying to Romeo about. Chris talked about the ventilation, that you're in a house and the ventilation is what brought it through the entire house. So you can be in an area and the virus still travels. It's really an exciting moment when people, but it's not necessarily something that people are listening to epidemiologists. And I really want our community to be very, very careful. So thanks, Terry, for that insightful report. We really look forward to all that great celebrity sequestering that's happening in the personal lives of the celebrities. But I really look forward, Terry, to a moment when our community will be honest about this virus. It is really killing us. Good morning to our guests on Rolling Out AM. We are here with the glam doctor, the entrepreneur herself, who is called and who believes in those sisters and is putting on those faces, helping them to smile, all the way from Detroit. It's the glam doctor on Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good morning.
Fantastic. We know that you in the D. What up, though?
What up, Joe?
Yeah, it's a great thing. I was watching Saturday. You had Vivica Fox on, and there seemed to be such a phenomenal, for you, those of you who don't know, you should explain what's going on and what you've been doing during this moment and what your new and beautiful calling has been to so many.
So I've created a class for women during the pandemic and the coronavirus, all of these things going on while we're sheltered in, called the Celebrity Glam Experience. And so me and my team got together and we talked about what to do to make things better for women during this time. And so I reached out to some of my celebrity friends to ask them, would they partner with me to come on into my virtual classes to help women feel good about themselves, to talk about what they are going through, to kind of leverage it out, like to make women, see that celebrities aren't any different than you. They're just, they're still women, still doing the very same exact things. It just, people know them. And so they agreed to come on with me, partner with me, sit and talk to the women in my class, do their own makeup, some of them while we were doing class, answer questions. It's been really, really, really incredible. And it's been really, really life-changing for a lot of the women. From a lot of the feedback that I'm getting, a lot of women's lives are being changed by just sitting in a virtual class, learning about beauty and being inspired at the same time.
No, I think is healing. I appreciate you letting me come in and actually take a look, at least be a fly on the wall.
Yes, thank you for being a fly on the wall and checking it out.
But it was touching. So once again, just like our other guests, you're giving individuals for a nominal fee access to celebrities like Vivica Fox, who I watched Vivica literally go around the room and ask each and every sister who was in the room where she was, what business she was working on, and I saw her give coaching to each of them, and they were able to ask questions. The transformation that was happening on the faces of these women as she was actually concepting, coaching, and concluding the experience with an idea that was actionable.
Yes.
People came out of there with actionable advice from Vivica Fox at that moment. That had to make you feel like what you were doing was really, truly a blessing to so many.
You know, Mr. C, it did. It actually made me even know that this thing is so much bigger than I am, and it's not about me. It's about what needs to get out to the world through me being a vessel of God, and I'm very humbled by that. I'm very humbled by the relationship that I have garnered in the industry, and that people would partner with me on this level to help people, because a lot of people would be like, "Oh, it's only, I'm not going to do that," you know, and they didn't do that. And Vivica really, literally, as you said, when she went around the room for the it's supposed to be a Q&A, and she just decided to do something different. She pivoted on that thing and went a different route, and it really made such a difference in the lives of those women. And so I was very grateful for that, and I was like, wow, this is so dope. And it was real sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? It was real sisterhood. It wasn't fake. It wasn't phony. It wasn't pretentious. She really made you feel, you know, connected to her. You know, as my other ones, you know, as Taj did Taj did in her class, Taj George, and then Allison Law did in her class. They made the women feel connected to them and had connectivity. And that made all the difference for the women. And it's not even about the money, because like you said, it's a very nominal fee. But I wanted the women to feel what I feel for my clients. You know, when they sit in front of me and I'm taking care of them, I feel like I'm with my girlfriend, you know? And
and when you have professionals like Taj Judge from SWV, she's giving you insight as a successful female entertainer, leader,
yes,
wife, all of those things that are making a difference. But the other thing that I saw, Cassidy, and you would have a insight on this as you talk about color, is women were literally moving to colors and learning how to apply colors and choose colors that they'd never had before.
Yeah, they were. And that was, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I was just going to add on to what he said and basically say this is a great time. We've been talking about skill sets and what you can learn during this time. And for a lot of women, it's a great time to sit at home and learn how to do their makeup or learn new techniques, learn eyeshadow, learn how to put on lashes and things like that. So that's awesome that you have these classes. And I definitely want to talk to you. You can just speak on that, on the color aspect, and then we can come back and talk about more events like this. And for women who missed out, how they can connect with you and learn from you to build up their makeup skills.
So as far as the color aspect, you know, that's the class we did last week the week before with Taj. I charged the women with trying something new, because most of us, and especially like my clientele, most of my clientele are very, they're women going on red carpet, they're going to events, they're speaking, so they don't want color. They don't want that. The only time I really get to use color is when I'm doing prom girls or some younger
birthday,
which I don't have a lot of younger clientele. So it was fun for me, even myself. I don't wear a lot of color. So I came out of my own box, you know, and I was showing them how to match color and how to step out of the box with the color, if that makes sense, and what to do, what not to do. Because sometimes people put on too much shimmer all over their lid and now they're like a disco ball. So I showed them different things to make it look beautiful and wearable and comfortable for where they were. And that, you know, and the other things we have coming up, our last class for this series is going to be with Kelly Williams Jackson, who you all know her as Laura Winslow from Family Matters. So she's my guest on this Saturday. That's like my sister. And so we're going to do a soft glam look for the women who don't wear a lot of makeup, but they still look polished and beautiful. So we're doing that class with her on Saturday. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a producer still. She's still working. And so to talk about, you know, everything that she's doing and how she's going through this pandemic, you know, when I called her, she said, Rashida, girl, I'm so glad you called me, because my husband been on my head about me getting up and putting myself together. So she was like, I can definitely speak to this. So these are just some of the things we're starting with. And as I see the need for it, you know, I always tell people my makeup classes, I even teach in a college here at a community college. I tell my students, it's not just makeup. I'm coming to give you empowerment. I'm coming to build your
Mhm.
self-esteem. I'm coming to build the inner parts of you, so that when you wear it on the outside, you feel amazing. Once you get out, you put it on, you're like, oh, I can do anything. I can fly.
Yes.
And that's how I want to make you feel in my classes.
That's awesome. No, I agree. I love soft glam. I don't know how to do all the extra stuff, so I'm pretty basic with the soft glam. But I think it's important for women who don't understand makeup or don't know how to do it to at least learn how to do that soft glam.
Yeah.
Just for simple things like going to a business interview or anything like that. Just so you have a little something, and it makes you feel like powerful, like you said, and like you've got
Absolutely.
it all. So we also wanted to talk to you about some of the other celebrities you've worked with in the past and the clients who you've done their makeup. We just love to share with you some of those, for you to share with us some of those people.
Some of the people I work with, most recently, I had the opportunity to work with Alfre Woodard. That was so dope. It was in October of 2019. Man, that was an amazing experience to work with such an iconic woman and to go into the room already. I already had a perception of her, and my perception of her was dead on. She was so gracious. She was so graceful. She asked me more about me than anything. She wanted to know what I was doing, and she was applauding me as a sister, as a young woman in business. She was on me about being about my business in the business and in the industry. I worked with her. I worked with Omari Hardwick. I worked with Laz Alonso. I worked with all the Clark sisters that came out. I worked with Angie Stone, Robin Givens, of course, Vivica Fox been my client. Just to name a few, Leon, Darren Henson, a lot of people. I worked with the cast of Greenleaf. We worked with them, did their glam for some things. So yeah, we worked with my companies worked with a lot of amazing people in the industry. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we've had some great experiences with them. I can't sit here and tell you that I've had bad experience. I've had wonderful, amazing experience I've walked away with and learned about people, and it's been just dope.
Definitely. You have a team here in Atlanta. Tell us a little about the team you're working with here in Atlanta.
So my team there in Atlanta, I have 2 hairstylists there. I have 3 hairstylists there, 3 makeup artists there, that and a photographer that works with us too, and videographer. So we have all of those different people on our staff there in Atlanta that are able to service clients when they need to be serviced, just like here in Detroit. So what happens is they call the company, and then they get booked out with an artist based on what their needs are, based on their location and what they need when they need to be serviced.
Now, Rashida?
Yes, sir.
I got a question now. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you brought up Omari Hardwick. Now, I'm a guy. How do guys glam? Because I don't know.
So guys do not glam. So let me just tell you, I also worked with Nelly before. And when I worked with Nelly, his people told me, do not call it makeup. Do not say makeup at all. It's grooming. And that's when I first learned about grooming. So men get groomed. We groom you guys. We make you feel still masculine. It does not take anything away from your masculinity. It's just taking the shine down, making sure you look camera ready. And that's important. Even for photographs, one of the photographers here I work with, her name is Monica Morgan. She had a lot of men I used to work with, and we will have to get them to understand the reason why we're putting a little something on them is for the pictures. Because think about it, most times you take a real picture, the raw photograph is not able to go straight to print. You've got to, edit that thing down. So us grooming you helps the editing process. It's not as long, and you still look like yourself. So that is what grooming. So we make sure we're talking to you about taking care of your skin. And so that's one of the things about, African-American men I'm working on now. Me and my partner named Charles Graham, we're working on a men's skincare line for brothers to make sure, because a lot of times the brothers, y'all know y'all grab whatever in the shower, so
like Dove soap.
Yes. We're working to help men, you feel good but still feel masculine. Because I love a good masculine man. Oh my God. Your masculinity is important to us. So we don't ever want to make you feel, feminine. That, so it's just to make you look masculine, still look masculine, but polished.
That's awesome. Skincare is important for everyone. So
yes,
I think everyone needs a skincare routine. So that's awesome that you're doing that.
Yes. Thank you so much.
But next time you come on, we're going to have to bring a clear example so you can kind of teach us and and find a way for us all to understand just how to freshen up our faces during this moment and highlight some of the ideas that we can actually reinvent ourselves during this moment, because
I would love to do
are definitely showing up on Zoom calls and we need a little of something.
Yes, I would love to do that. I would love, because digital appearances right now are the basic, are really, you need to look good and polished on camera, because you don't want to look like just rolling out the bed. You want to look good and nice and fresh. And so I can teach that for both men and women, to make sure they look good and they feel confident in doing this. So coming to my virtual classes that I offer will really help you during this time to be able to look amazing.
Super. Well, we want to thank you for coming on.
Yes,
The Glam Doctor herself.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your series. If people want to check in, where can they check in for this weekend's sessions?
Go to our social media, go to the Glam Doctor on social media, and everything is there. You can click right there and you can book your appointments right there online. And they're only $15. Once you book your appointment, you'll receive an email with the Zoom link to get on the call, along with all of the information for the kit items you need for the class to learn. And listen, ladies, if you don't have all of the items, it's okay. Just learn, just take, sit there in the class and just take all the information in. You can still learn a lot of information just sitting there, and you can come back later for another class.
All right. Well, we thank you. Be safe
Thank
there.
you so much.
And
Take care.
That, we'll see you soon. We love you, baby.
Thank you for having me.
Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
All right. So Cassidy, what do we take away? Soft glam.
Definitely. I mean, I think it's important for women to know how to do some aspect of makeup. So Rashida is definitely helping women not only learn how to glam the inside, but also the outside of who they are, with all the people she's working with, giving, tips and helping women to keep empowering themselves and, learning more skills. So I really think that's awesome. And not only that, she's helping men with skincare and self-care as well. So that's super awesome.
Do we have any more comments? Because here at Rolling Out AM, the wake up call, we want to thank everybody who's tuning in and showing it. Be sure to share it with your friends as we grow and go forward in this particular pandemic. Romeo, any more comments from Facebook that you can see?
Checking in right now. This goes out to Cass in the city. What is your daily facial routine?
Daily, I kind of fluctuates. I have a nighttime routine and a daytime routine. But obviously when I wake up, I wash my face. I use Kiehl's Ultra Facial Moisturizer. I think that's what it's called. I use a bunch of different stuff. I use like a vitamin C serum. I use a face moisturizer with hyaluronic acid, which like draws in more moisture. I use what else do I use?
Oh, I know what you use, Cass. The cucumbers over your eyes so that you have
I do use a toner with cucumber in it.
Right. I heard that if you take raw cucumber, put it in the freezer. I saw a lady do it online. She actually cut up the cucumbers. She has a bag in her freezer. She pops them out. She puts them on her eyes, increases the blood flow to her eyes in the morning. Yes. I know that for my wife, there's always this masking is being put on and off.
Always.
So, copping a few masks while you're there, if you're running through the store or ordering online. But there are a few, Carol's daughter got young women have products. Can you share with us, Cass, any of the brands that people should probably try from African-American female makeup entrepreneurs? I know there are several, the Glam Bar.
Awesome. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Carol's daughter has great products. There's a lot of different Black-owned beauty companies, cosmetic companies. Let me just think. Shea Moisture has a lot of products available now. I'm going to shout out a young woman actually who is, I just found her Instagram, but she has vegan skincare. The company's called Moon X Cosmetics, and she just sold $1 million in product in 8 minutes just on Friday. So shout out to her. It's vegan, it's natural skincare. She helps people battle acne, acne scarring, discoloration, things that people with melanated skin have to deal with. So shout out to her. That's super awesome. And I'm definitely going to check out those products. I'm going to come back with a list for you guys of a bunch of Black owned skincare brands that you can try, because there are so many who are doing vegan things to make sure you're natural. There's a lot of natural skincare products out there for you to try that don't have any parabens, mineral oils, if you are vegan and things like that. So I'm going to definitely make a list of those for you.
Well, Cass, we're not going to get the fellas off the hook. This question was proposed for the fellas, too, guys. Rolling out you, Mr. Steve, Terry, do you have a daily facial routine?
Oh, definitely. Washcloth and soap and a little coconut oil at the end of the cycle of washing and steaming the face. And then at least one day a week after that, a lemon rinse on the face, just to kind of use it as a toner. And then, of course, you know, once you age your beard, a little regular alcohol, old school. I'm not adding anything, but just some alcohol up under here to kind of deal with the things, but definitely wash the face on a regular basis, daily, twice a day, just because we have so much. Not only do we touch our hands, but we touch other products. And as men, we have to just be careful touching products and or touching things and then putting on our face and not washing. It leads to scarring. The other thing is moisturizing. Most of us don't have a moisturizer. So if you find once you wash your face, there should be some type of moisturizing actually, and don't just limit it to your face, like your elbows, your legs, your ankles, even washing your feet. Like, don't be in the shower and then don't wash your feet. Come on. What's the point of being in the shower if you're not going to walk in there and clean all parts? So for me, I think it's the face. And I think just as brothers, just encouraging us all to increase our daily regimen, to just exfoliate and take off the things that we're facing each day. Because when you go outside, the pollen, the dirt, all clean. When you're running, when you're walking, all that wind is blowing dirt onto your face. So you really just need some methodology. And it's not bad to have the necessary tools. And I think, Cass, maybe you can make us a video just on how to kind of do a quick little cleansing and the things that are necessary. Some people don't want to have cotton balls in the house, but you should. You know, you should have your Q-tips of some sort, just you can do some of those things. And
definitely.
I really would like that, Cass. Tell me what a good moisturizer is.
Where to get some good cotton balls.
I use cotton rounds.
Okay.
They're flat, but yes, you definitely should have something.
Rolling out Facebook.
And that's my point. I think that just understand the tools, having it, making it fun, whether it's the rounds, whether it's just the whole process, enjoying the process. Doesn't have to be an hour long, but just adding that 1 or 2 minutes might save your skin from, you know, breakouts, understanding, removing dirt at this moment.
Rolling out Facebook, Janice Simmons is checking in. Mary says, yay, Glam Doctor. Rashida was great. Oh my God, the Glam Doctor. Also, Yvonne Williams says the Glam Doctor segment was excellent. She's an excellent teacher. Thank you, Rolling Out AM. So shout out to everybody watching live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube right now on the Rolling Out AM Wake Up.
That's what's up.
I sent Terry. Did you send over that link that I sent you from Little House on the Prairie?
I can do that right now, sir.
Yeah,
expeditiously.
You know, Instagram's had a whole movement on here and now, and we're going to work to do a better job of highlighting, introducing you to individuals. tune in today. I want to make sure for Health IQ, we've got a phenomenal lineup. If they'll share the flyer with the Health IQ lineup, that'll be great as well, because we want you to hear it from the professionals. We do a wonderful and supporting the professionals that look like us. We've got obviously our illustrious police chief from Dallas, Nay Hall. She's a phenomenal sister. She spent time in Detroit prior to Dallas. Obviously, Dr. Dwight Owens, who is a psychiatrist and here in Atlanta on the front line, and from Houston, Ken Teshkal is an anesthesiologist, and we'll be there to discuss the front line and the real effects of what it is and how it's affecting us as a community, and the trauma that many of us are experiencing, taking home, and even discussing why and how we shouldn't and should move about our community. So for all of you, please tune in at 6 to 9 on Facebook Live and rolling out Twitter Live and YouTube live stream. Thank you so much. Romeo.
Yeah.
So what you listen to over there, man? I need some new music. You're always talking about it. So let's make sure that we have, I know that there are obscure artists that drop music. I know you were shouting about Drake recently and his new music, which your mixtape. But what is the single on that record that you think is the game changer that puts him in your all-time 5?
I think the game changer that actually boosted me up, and you know what? I'm hesitant to say this, Mr. Steve, because I know how Cass in the city is, and we all know that she loves her some Drake all over and over and over again. But the song that he did with Young Thug and Future called D4L, and it's reminiscent of Atlanta. And one thing that surprised me about Drake is him and Beyonce are always prevalent with time. Like for some reason, they are able to connect with now better than any other artist, I think. And once I heard that, it shot me to the top 5. But I'm also curious because you're Chicago, you're a man of hip hop as well. Who's your top 3? Who's your top 3 favorite rap artists, hip hop artists?
My top 3 favorite rap artists are one was a group. It was called Outkast. So definitely the homies here. I think they transformed the whole idea of hip hop being a New York thing. Was definitely there. Everybody in NWA after that was probably one of my top, just from iconic, the idea of what hip hop music and West Coast feel was. So that includes Ice Cube in that. So I don't want to say that group and that whole cell created the whole influence, because you had Dre. So from there, you obviously got Snoop. So I think that whole era for me was moving in how hip hop is bold its way. Lastly, I would think of something much more current. And I think it just defines hip hop in a way that most people don't want to define hip hop, and that's having a soul. And I think that's Frank Ocean. I think Frank actually approaches the music in a way that says, I can rap with the best. So he raps with Jay-Z. I can rap with the best. I can be on any song. And yet I don't have to offend people. I don't necessarily have to be unconscious, and yet it can be beautiful music. Because I think often people say hip hop and then you're in a trap. That means I gotta be selling dope, or I gotta be saying something derogatory about women. And I think that the people that I want to listen to on a regular basis that say they're hip hop have created timeless music that literally influences others and creates an ocean of creativity for those around them. So they're writer producers, they're expanding the culture like Ice Cube, acting, sports. They're like Dr. Dre, who was in WWA, so that you have a whole, I'm at Apple, I do beats, I'm pushing things forward. So for me, I think that's it in terms of current. It'll obviously, I'll review it next year, we'll change again. But obviously, anytime I can hear Dre and Big Boy for the moment that they gave, and literally Andre, anytime he chooses to collaborate and bless. But do want to say that my number one hip hop generation female is actually Erykah Badu. So I think she gave so much for, and probably would be number one if I listened to women more often on my playlist. Right. She would be number one. Because for a creative, she's unapologetically the force that I think hip hop really recommends. I mean, I think she's unapologetic. She's going to have life on her terms. I think she's not going to let them define who she is. I think she's going to push the envelope. I think she's going to remain timeless. She's going to say, you can watch me. I will give you a concert. I think she can say I'll make your telephone ring. So she claps back on Drake and say, I can make your telephone ring. So I think she's very empowering to women who are successful, independent, not codependent on men, and literally has led her life in a way that she is naked in her beauty and her intelligence in a cosmic way that's transforming for so many.
Right. I didn't see the NWA coming. That was
well, I think New York is what New York is, but I think when you think of the movement that was at least addressing some people and consciousness, that there's always a level of consciousness when you think of an Ice Cube. When you think of that group, they expanded the relationship. Any other comments from Facebook?
Checking right now, checking in. Cass, while I'm checking in, tell me your top three, Cass.
That's so hard. I don't even. That's really hard. I love Outkast. Shout out to Big Boy, Andre 3000. Obviously, I'm a huge Drake fan. Jay-Z is top for me. Like,
go ahead and get Chris Brown in there somewhere.
Chris Brown is not like a rapper, so he's R&B to me. So I don't know, y'all. It's really hard. There's so many talented guys out there. It's hard to kind of pick. I'm a J. Cole fan, Wale fan. I don't know. I really can't pick, but I definitely am. Jay-Z and Drake are like up there for me, for sure. And obviously Outkast, like you said.
I thought you were going to pick Kanye West as one of your
favorites. Okay. So yeah, Kanye West is up there for me too.
Literally, I don't know that there could have been a Drake without Kanye's album, because he literally utilized half of his playbook.
He'll tell you that too.
I think literally he used Kanye's playbook to kind of round out how he entered. I mean,
Kanye West is definitely up there for me as well. He's not making that much music right now, but he's definitely up there as like musical creative genius to me. Like old Kanye, his hits like will always rock with me. And obviously I'm also a Nipsey Hussle fan. So yeah, definitely.
Make sure y'all go out to Rolling Out and look at the Nipsey Hussle cover. If you haven't seen the Nipsey Hussle cover,
yes,
the classic Rolling Out cover that you definitely need to have as your Instagram, whatever.
And I definitely stress that you were a fan. Both of you were fans before he unfortunately passed away last year. There's a lot of people who were Johnny-come-latelys who didn't know anything about him and were not attuned to his socio-political leanings, his entrepreneurial spirit, his philanthropy. You're just talking about an all-around genius and Renaissance man who gave so much to the community and who is gone too soon. Nipsey Hussle, shout out to him. Definitely
shout out to Nipsey.
But mine, well, it's got to start with, of course, the great legendary Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Okay.
No, no. My greatest of all time is definitely Tupac Amaru Shakur. Basically because I'm such a historical aficionado and
Yes.
I love politics. And he was able to definitely mix and intertwine both politics and rap and to give some powerful messages, some haunting
Definitely.
messages, especially So Many Tears, where he pretty much predicts his own death. And he talks about, God, let me into heaven's doors. I'm in so much pain. My brain is burning. My girlfriend hates me. It was just, he has haunting music that resonates today. And of course, Outkast. I love Outkast. Go ahead.
Yep.
Oh, Outkast. You definitely got to go with Outkast because they were able to metamorph into something that was just greater than just a genre. Even though hip hop encompasses the entire earth, they were able to move beyond the invisible barriers that separate rap from pop music and get into things like pop music, and to get into singing. And saying Andre 3000 is just a genius, certifiable genius in terms of his ability to basically weave rap into actually playing songs, singing. I thought that was just genius, especially with Miss Jackson and especially with Hey Ya. Those things definitely, you play that music today, you can't help but dance.
And your
So Outkast,
For sure.
go ahead.
And your last one and your last third one. Who's the last?
Basically Biggie. I was not a big fan of his before. I was definitely leaning more towards Tupac because a lot of times, just like Michael Jackson and Prince, you pick one, you hate the other.
Yeah.
But I had to come to I've listened to a lot of his music lately. I've come to appreciate him because I was such a political force back in my 20s that I just loved Tupac, and Biggie was more, personal. He was talking more about the things that were happening on the streets. And as I come along and mature as an individual, I learned to appreciate him more. So definitely Tupac. I mean, Tupac, Biggie, and Outkast. That's what's up.
Okay.
I think it's hard though. Like I think it's hard to put people in categories because there's so many talented people from different not different genres, from different time periods in hip hop culture. So it's hard to kind of place because there's so many, like we all kind of touched on different ones that we obviously respect and love, but didn't have to put them in top 3 is kind of hard for me.
Yeah, and also
y'all need to get ready for your top 3 authors and see how dope we are at these top 3 authors on tomorrow, so we can talk about that. And you got a whole idea, Romeo. Quickly, your top 3, and you don't get to use Jay-Z or Drake.
Oh, must that hurt? Nas, Big Sean, and I gotta go Jay. I'm sorry, Nas, Big Sean, and Jay. I love rap that has a conversation. Love rap that has a conversation with. So those 3.
Don't J. Cole.
Ooh, he's a little
saved, but she don't want to be saved.
I think he's a little bit more intellectual. I put J. Cole on the same lines as a Kendrick and
Kendrick Lamar. I was about to say that, yeah.
And sure. And a NWA. Like
yeah.
They have,
and I think all of them were influenced by Tupac, which is why I really appreciate Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole. I love them. You know what I'm saying? Definitely that kind of Black Panther, that strong vibe that they got going on. I love them.
Yeah, I think that we're at that point where we can talk about wonderful, positive thoughts for the day, which is that moment that at rolling out AM, the wake-up call, we're all going to share our positive thoughts. So if you haven't taken the time to breathe or relax, we hope that you'll do that. And we got a special guest for you tomorrow to bring in the meditation aspects to our show so that you can heal and see a positive reflection of yourself. So we're going to go to the bruiser, who's going to give us a beautiful, welcoming idea of peace, tranquility, and serenity that is always coming from the Buckeye State. Dr. Muhammad Ali Terry Shropshire.
Actually, you can call me the first Huey Newton since I'm the first King James. But to leave the Black Panthers alone, I just wanted to tell people that it is about peace and tranquility and about being centered. And so what I do every day and throughout the day is just take time to breathe, to hold in your breath for 5 seconds and to let it go in 5 seconds and to give thanks, because Thanksgiving equals the multiplicity or the multiplication of blessings. Thanksgiving multiplies blessings. So take time to breathe and give thanks, and then attack your day. Not go about your day. Attack your day with fervor. And that's my message for today.
Positive thought of the day. Romeo International.
My rolling out AM wake up call positive thought for today is common sense. I really want people to please start applying common sense. You hear us on Rolling Out AM Wake Up talk about being aware and being more open to others that are around you. Please, people, use common sense. It's not all about you, it's about us.
But what do you know what they say about common sense? What they say, Romeo, about common sense?
I don't know. What do they say?
It ain't always common. Right.
They definitely don't sell it at the store, so it's hard to find something.
No. Maybe they were selling it at the shoe store where they were getting the Jordans from. That's why they were in line.
Man. Hopefully they got something from that.
I'm not certain. Positive thought. We will keep it positive. Cassidy Sparks.
Positive thought. I definitely say like reflect on your day. I also, like Terry, I'm definitely big on gratitude. I have a gratitude journal. So definitely taking time to reflect on your day and write down what you're grateful for. That may be difficult for people right now. But think about the little things that you take for granted, you know. So definitely positive thought of the day is being grateful, practicing gratitude.
Thank you for the props there, Cassie. I really appreciate it. I feel like somebody today.
Well, Rolling Out AM, we want everybody to go to rollingout.com to check out more information, more power, more love there. For all of you that have tuned in, we want to thank you. Be sure to share it with your friends. We definitely want to see you tonight at 6 for Health IQ. We've got a phenomenal group. We've got a phenomenal, great understanding. I'd like to share with you, just before I give my positive thoughts, the whole idea. So the Dallas Police Chief, clearly Dr. Dwight Owens is a psychiatrist. And we also want to acknowledge Dr. Hall, the anesthesiologist. And for many who don't know, the anesthesiologist is one of those individuals who is right next to you when they have to put you on the ventilator, the person that will take you so that your breathing is done by the machine and you are able to still live and be alive, hopefully preserving your life until you can get past COVID. So that's happening tonight at 6 p.m. on Facebook Live, on Twitter Live, and on YouTube. This is Munson Steed and Rolling Out. I would also like to play that last video, if you have it, Portia, from Little House on the Prairie. Hit it.
Todd Bridges, of course, as we watched the Rolling Out AM show, is from Different Strokes, a legendary show from the 1970s.
And this is from Little House on the Prairie.
His little, guest appearance on it, yes.
So we're gonna, I wanted to just kind of give an idea, because I think it's a question that people still have about.
You like the most. This week I thought it might be fun if we wrote an essay about the things that we dislike the most. Solomon?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you think of something that you dislike?
Being a nigga. I didn't mean nothing bad. The teacher asked a question and I just answered it.
Why'd you say it?
'Cause it's the truth. If and I was right, my pa still be alive. Being a nigga killed my pa. You answer me something, sir.
If I can.
Would you like to live to be 100?
I'm sure I would. It's not very likely, but I guess all of us like to live to a ripe old age.
Would you rather be black and live to be 100 or white and live to be 50?
Now, last week I had you write an.
So a lot of conversation about that. Just wanted to bring it, wake up call. The conversation and the illustration and who we are, the oppression that we face every day. Make sure that the images that we're portraying of ourselves are things that we can think about. What did you think about that, Cassie, when you saw it?
Wow, I have never seen that before, so I'm just trying to take it in. I think it's definitely relevant to, health disparities in our community, and a lot of things in the Black community, as far as economic oppression and different things. We face a lot of things that other communities don't understand and don't have to deal with just because we are Black. We don't have access to things like healthcare. So I think it's definitely relevant. It's a wake-up call. It's how we view ourselves. So there's a lot of things you could take from it. I think it's a great way to kind of close out the show. It's a great thinking exercise. So.
Absolutely.
Romeo? Quick.
Take it home, Romeo.
It kind of just kicked me in the chest. Like Cassidy said, like it really just took the air out of me a little bit. Because
We'll come back to it. My positive thought of the day: have an observer self. Be able to see yourself. Be able to understand who you are. Be able to have that observer self walk with you. Understand you don't want to walk and be selfish, so cover up. Be sure that you know that we are a great people. We are kings and queens. You are destined for greatness. So put on your mask, put on your security, be safe, love the people around you by being the kings, queens, and representing all of those who have gone before us. Let not this be the moment that you cause calamity in our community through what you do, but instead be that great reflection of hope and kindness in a time of turmoil, in a time of those who are led with ignorance. Instead, let you be the guiding light of hope. Let them see it in every generation that we have the capacity. We have the capacity to question the offensiveness, the microaggressions that we face. And we pray and send love as we observe, and be sure to thank all those people that are frontline individuals, from cash register attendants to grocery store clerks to bus drivers. We say thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We're rolling out AM, and this is the wake up call. Peace. We're out. We'll see you next week, everybody.